Diablo 4 Season 5, The Infernal Hordes. Is this game going upwards or downwards? Let's find out. Let's go. What is new with this season? One new event and some mini small dungeons that you can do with this seasonal content. Okay, basically it's wave after wave after wave, but that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the game mechanic. Everything remains the same like it used to be during the previous seasons. Okay, so one small addition. Helltide is still very good for loot, for experience and so on. Nightmare dungeons are still crap, they're only there for you to level up your sigils. Yeah, Legion is non-existent, basically. It makes no point in doing it, because you can acquire way much more gear in the Helltide than the actual Legion. You cannot one-shot world bosses anymore. This time world bosses are a bit tankier, but they deal potato damage. And they introduced a lot of new uniques and a lot of new aspects, or should I say reworked aspects on legendaries. That's not what I want to cover. That all depends what you play, what's in the meta and what's not in the meta. What I want to cover is the Infernal Hordes. So this is what you get, the Infernal Hordes compass. It can drop anywhere basically, and it has tiers from tier 1 to tier 8. Yeah, and you pick a tier no matter what. We're gonna pick tier 4, and it acts exactly the same like the Nightmare dungeon. It takes you straight to the Infernal Hordes, and that would be wave after wave after wave of monsters. Yeah, for your final boss fight, or better to say for the triple boss fight, and loot. It's always the same and nothing changes. Now, what you can encounter in the Infernal Hordes. Every wave lasts a minute. Yeah, and you got, it depends on the tier. On tier 4 it's 6 waves, on tier 5 it's 7, on tier 6 it's 8 waves, etc. And every wave lasts a full minute. So you're doing this for a full minute, trying to survive against, I'm not trying to survive, killing demons, and you collect Heather, this thing over here below the timer. Okay, and the game, once you kill enough of the monsters, then the game spawns a new wave, and then you wait, kill them all, the wave ends. So usually it's never 1 minute for a wave, it's always like a minute and 5 seconds, minute and 10 seconds, and so on. You see now the time expired, and you finish them all up. They don't disappear, there's always someone stuck and so on. And then when you finish the wave, you get to pick one out of the 3. Something positive and something negative. Monsters get stronger, but you receive more Ether. With Ether, you unlock loot at the end of the Infernal Hordes. And that's all the content for the Season 5. Now, what are the problems? Enemies inside here are brain dead, they get stuck, they don't react, they don't chase you. It's very easy, basically. Also, another problem. If the monster level, for example, says, one of the biggest problems in the game is that it's completely out of balance. The monster level is 120 in Infernal Hordes feels like a 150 in the pit. You know, like a tier 100 in Nightmare dungeons, so completely out of balance. And that means this is tier 4. When you play tier 5, tier 6, monster levels on tier 6 are, for example, 160. Yeah. They feel like 199, so the game is completely out of balance. This is due to a nerf, okay? The inflated HP, especially in bosses. They really have inflated HP. And tiresome, you know. You have like 8 waves, and you play for 10 minutes to clear those 8 waves, and then you fight the boss for 5 minutes. Yeah. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 3 minutes, it doesn't matter. That means that you lost. As well as on this, when you wait to see what you're gonna pick, that means you're gonna lose 15 to 20 minutes. 20 minutes with loot, to check out loot and so on. You're gonna lose 20 minutes, always, per run. 20 minutes. What you receive in the end is 3 different chests, same like this. 1 big chest, 1 small, and 1 with materials. Yeah. I did them like 30. They drop nothing. What they drop is usually like ancestral legendary with or without 1 star. I never seen a drop out of 2 stars, even on tier 6. I never seen a drop. Okay, the good drops that I got are from Helltide. It's not from the seasonal content. Seasonal content, the bottom line is, seasonal content is out of balance, it's unrewarding, it takes way too long, it's buggy. It just takes way too long for the shit rewards. It's extremely bad. Extremely, extremely bad. If you're gonna waste 20 minutes per 1 run, better go to the Helltide and open 10 chests in 20 minutes. Yeah, plus the Blood Maven that drops loot and so on. So you better do that. Better play Pit. 1 pit less, 2 minutes. Yeah, depends on the tier, of course. And you get 7-8 items, plus you get obols, so you can gamble for items. Here you get nothing. You don't get obols. You just get nothing out of it. That's the main problem of the Infernal Hordes. Seasonal content is just straight up disgusting. Now, how many hours I've spent in a game? Here it says I've spent 43 hours. I was idle and so on, so the actual game time was 30 hours. Still finish Nightmare Dungeons, tier 100, yeah. Max Nightmare Dungeons to reach like tier 70 in the pit. To equip all gear, to comfortably do the Helltide and all other content in the game, as well as Infernal Hordes. But rewards just plain suck. And that's the bottom line for the Infernal Hordes. It's very, very bad. It's just bad. Blizzard dropped the ball with this. The main issue that I got, aside from bugs, aside from enemies being brain dead and so on, the main problem with this season is how much time it consumes per this infernal event and the actual reward. The reward is not worth it, okay, because you can do the seasonal journey without it basically and collect all loot. Also, loot from the seasonal journey doesn't give a thing, or at least that was my luck. Yeah, overall I would say how it's a very bad season. I finished this season with only 1 Uber Unique. In previous season I had like 20 Uber Uniques. 20. This season I only finished with 1 Uber Unique, and it gave me the shittiest one. It gave me, I think it's Tyrael's Might. It gave me Tyrael's Might. So previous season, Loot Reborn, I had 20 Mythic Uniques, or better to say Uber Uniques. This season, only 1. Mobs are inflated with HP, especially in the Infernal Hordes. Bosses are inflated with HP. Again, when it says 140 monster level, it feels like 170. When you compare the overall balance with the pit and so on, it's very, very bad. They dropped the ball. So I guess they're putting all of their resources towards the DLC that's coming up in 4 months. So I guess it makes sense for this season to suck, but it really, really, really sucks. Basically, it's more of the same from the previous season with a small addition of monster waves. With 0 rewards. Again, time that you spend in a game for doing those waves, it doesn't equal the amount of rewards you receive. It's just way too low. It's actually depressing. The game that's supposed to be about loot doesn't give loot. It's very bad. Aside from that, the game is in a solid state, and I guess it's gonna be a very good game around 2026. But right now, it's not worth for playing more than 30 hours, I guess, and that's the reality. This game slowly went downhill compared to the previous season. Not much, just by a bit, but I still have to say it because no one wants to say anything about the season. This ain't good. It requires a lot of patching, a lot of balancing, rebalancing on monsters, on gear, on loot drop, on a time invested. Waves should not be more than 30 seconds. Why do you waste people's lives like this? Again, for the same amount of time that you spent in the Infernal Hordes, you're gonna get way much more out of the Helltide. Way much more out of the pit. For the same amount of time. Out of the pit, you'll get the most, actually, because you also receive all balls. Infernal Hordes is really, really bad. If Infernal Hordes gave, for example, upgrade materials for weapons, okay, so you can masterwork weapons. If it gave all balls, you know, if it gave all of the stuff, then it would be worth doing. Right now it's crap, and you add on shitty rewards in terms of items at the end, and how much time it takes to kill the inflated HP on all of those bosses and so on. It's infuriating. It's just infuriating. It feels like some, you know how Infernal Hordes feels like some indie roguelite, like a mini gauntlet, but for mobiles. It doesn't feel like a seasonal content, a thing that you can do, you know, something that engages the player to do it non-stop. It really feels like a small mini game placed inside a big game. That's what the Infernal Hordes is. It's a mini indie game. That's how I see it, at least. And I've spent a lot of time in action RPGs in both Diablo 4, Path of Exile, all Diablos, Grim Dawn. This ain't good. It's just solid, but it ain't good. It doesn't engage the player. It doesn't make me want to play the game. The main issue with action RPG, and the biggest problem the action RPG can have, is if a player gets bored fast. It should be the opposite. It should consume the player. You should think about it even when you go to sleep. What are you gonna do tomorrow? What are you gonna equip? Where are you gonna go? What are you gonna do? Here, you can't wait for the season to end. You can't wait to finish. It's tiresome. Season of the Infernal Hordes is actually tiresome. That's what a season is. I'm tired of it. And I only played 30 hours. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll be seeing you on the next one. Thanks for watching.